This is the Retirement Key Podcast with Abe Abish, founder of Abish Financial Services.
A lot of firms out there say they will do tax planning, say they will do Social Security planning and RMD planning, and typically they just do investment management. They want your money.
You've worked hard your whole life to earn and save. Now you need a plan to make that money work hard for you.
Where do you stand today with your retirement accounts, with your insurance, with Social Security, RMDs, taxes, all of it? This is how we need to think. We need to think outside of the box on these matters.
Abe is here to help you unlock the keys to your retirement.
Mr. Abish, we've officially entered the last month of summer. Actually, I guess summer goes into September, technically speaking.
It does. But we're in the dog days of summer right now.
Isn't
100
that
degrees,
the truth?
over 100 degrees.
Right.
Hope you are somewhere cool right now.
Yeah.
Maybe on a boat?
You and I, that would be
pool?
lovely.
At the beach?
Cold drink in hand, enjoying yourself. You and I were talking about, before we came on the air, I was actually recently in Jamaica with some friends, and you want to talk about a woman who is used to the air-conditioned way of life, going to a place where it's just hot and humid, and like nobody's bothered by it. And I'm like, the second we got off the plane,
there's no worries in Jamaica.
no worries,
Heather.
man. No, I know. The second I got off the plane, I started sweating, and I swear I didn't stop till we flew back to the States. And I was just like, air conditioning, I have found you. It's the little things in life.
Worst places to be than Jamaica, Heather.
Right.
So glad you had a nice trip.
I don't have problems. Of this I am sure. Of this I am very sure. And one thing that I was thinking to myself while we were vacationing and enjoying the time was, just how grateful I was to be there, to have that financial means to an end, to be able to enjoy that experience, but also like the mutual gratification of being able to come home to the house that we love and the bed that we love to sleep in. My husband and I have a very I call it my sleep oasis with our sleep number bed, et cetera, and how that's really the goal when it comes to the plans that you work out for the folks that you work with there in your office at Abish Financial Services, finding that middle ground that involves things like vacationing, but also that happy home life and everything else that's involved in our retirement years, isn't it?
Absolutely, Heather. I mean, we all want to retire with dignity, with confidence. We don't want to be worried about the markets when we're going to bed, right? I told you, several months ago, we had a client that came on board earlier this year, and he said, Abe and the team, I look forward to Fridays when the markets are closed. Mm-hmm. No, that is not the retirement you want to live. So we made a change, and they moved all their funds over here for a plan that better suits their needs and this next phase and season of their lives.
Well, thinking about that next season in the space that we're living in right now has become much more complicated for the folks that are looking to retire in the next 3 to 5 years because of new elements that have really not been a factor for a lot of us, at least over the past decade. Let's talk about inflation rates, Abe, because we just got that news about a week and a half ago where the interest rates went up another 3/4 of a point. As the Fed works to control these high inflation rates, and they're saying they're not afraid to make larger moves in the months to come. So Jim Caron of Morgan Stanley, he was telling CNBC that there are clear risks ahead.
The Fed have to be tough on inflation. The problem is that they're fighting a lagging indicator, inflation, with a policy tool, raising interest rates, that works with a lag. So it's very, very difficult for them to actually time this and get this right. The risk is a recession. The risk is a hard landing. They are willing to go into that territory in order to stop inflation.
Abe, we can try to combat inflation by doing obvious things like spending less. But when it comes to funding our retirement, the biggest fear is always that factor of running out of money. So what are you telling clients to reassure them right now in this time?
You have to have a plan, Heather. Look, there are so many things that are uncertain in the world right now, but your retirement, your financial future does not have to be one of them. And look, you can't control what the Federal Reserve is going to do. You can't control the war in Europe. You can't control inflation, taxes, the markets, the president, whatever there is out there. But you can control in large part, Heather, the amount of risk you're taking in your retirement plan, setting up a plan in general. See, most people have an advisor or have a plan to get them to retirement.
Right.
And then they're coming here and they're like, Abe and the team, what the heck do I do next? I've got $2 million. I have no idea what to do from here on out because all they've ever known is pedal to the metal, work as hard as they possibly can, max out their accounts, and then they're 60 and they're like, I want to enjoy this now. I want to retire when I'm 62. I want to retire when I'm 65. I've got $2 million. I've got the money that I need, to have saved to enjoy the retirement of my dreams, but I have no idea what to do from here on out. So It's one thing to have a big bucket of money and to have plenty of money saved. And most people we meet with, Heather, do have plenty of money saved. I just got off a video call with a gentleman in Bethesda who has $5 million saved.
Nice.
But instead of it being invested conservatively as he wishes to, he's invested aggressively and for no need, which is why he picked up the phone and called us. So we want to control what we can. We recently had a couple come in from Waldorf, Maryland, which is about a 2-hour drive each way. And so for those of you saying, hey, I'm in Fairfax, I don't want to drive 30 minutes, or I'm in Maryland, don't want to drive 45 minutes, just remember, look, I know the traffic stinks around here sometimes. And I know it can be a little bit of a drive, but remember, this is your life's work you're looking to protect. And so they have $2 million saved. They're in their mid-60s. They are just about to retire. They are middle-of-the-road investors. They're 5 on our risk scale, moderate. They're concerned with all the things going on right now, just like most people are. What if taxes go up? What if inflation does not get under control? What if this recession, we are in a recession now statistically. They say it's a transition, but we are in recession officially with the second quarter being negative. They're concerned with the markets and how they're going to react in the future. What was their problem? Although they had $2 million saved, they had a path to get to this point, and they've gotten here successfully. And now they don't want to mess this thing up as they're in their mid-60s and could live another 30 years. They're concerned with all the things that can mess up a great investment plan. What are those things? I just mentioned them. The chance that taxes will go up, which they will probably go up for everybody down the road. The chance that inflation may not get under control. The chance that the markets will take another 10, 15, or 20% drop after most people have already lost around 15% year to date, which for a lot of people is hundreds of thousands of dollars. The gentleman I was speaking to earlier that I referenced had lost $700,000. $700,000. I mean, that is a lot of money, right? So what are you comfortable with losing is a question we ask our prospective clients oftentimes. What are you comfortable with losing? Is what you have today appropriate for this next phase of your life? In other words, are you still invested like a 40-year-old, a 45-year-old, or a 50-year-old? And many people are, because that's all they ever knew, right? And they knew they needed to get to retirement. But now that they're here at the top of their own retirement mountain, they know they need to get down safely. And 80% of all climbing accidents, Heather, happen on the descent, not the ascent. So what was the solution for them? We helped them to build in layers of protection so that they can get down their own retirement mountain safely. We made sure that their income streams were taken care of for life and inflation adjusted. We talked about taxes, and what did we do? We put together a tax mapping report and analysis to help them lower and mitigate tax as much as possible. Finally, we lowered the risk in their market-based investments.
So, Abe, people obviously come to you asking all kinds of money questions, but the top reason that people seek financial help, according to a new poll, it really does tie into what we were just talking about, finding out how much money you can safely spend in retirement without going broke. So for years, we heard about the 4% rule, which basically says you withdraw 4% from your financial assets every year, and that should, I say in air quotes, adequately fund your retirement. However, many people think that this rule is seriously flawed. So let's talk about it. Where do you stand on this 4% theory as retirees worry whether or not they'll have enough money to live on and if it's still applicable?
The same financial advisor that came out with this 4% rule, Heather, back in the 90s, I believe, has now come out and said a safer withdrawal rate is around 2.8, 2.9, maybe 3%. Why? 2 reasons. People are living longer than when that rule first came out, and interest rates are lower, and what we can earn on our money, the yields and interests, are lower than what we were able to earn on our funds in the 90s. So I would say that's a little bit more appropriate, is perhaps 3%. 4% is not a hard and fast rule we follow, but you do want to start to think about, okay, I've got $2 million now. I've got $1 million. I've got $3 million. I've got $500,000. Mm-hmm. Which account should I tap first? How much should I be taking out? Which account should I be withdrawing from? Like, which are my conservative accounts? Which are my more aggressive accounts? So all of that's really important and should be addressed in a comprehensive retirement income plan. And what we found, Heather, in the DC metro area is that most people we meet with that are in their 50s to 70s have saved enough, but they are asset rich, income poor. Let me say that again. Asset rich, income poor. We had one family come in recently with over $10 million.
Yeah.
Over $10 million, essentially feeling like they were strapped.
Jeez.
Why? Because they didn't have an income generating plan. This is one of the biggest fears, perhaps the biggest fear of a retiree, is that they're going to outrun their money because they don't know what to do with this big bucket of money. They don't know how to set up a plan.
Right.
The first thing we help them set up, Heather, is an income plan, an inflation adjusted income plan. We call it a roadmap. We call it GPS for your retirement.
Yeah.
And so we just had a couple come in recently that really needed this, and they had a bunch of products and investments and IRAs and annuities and stocks and all this stuff that most people have. And just like most people we meet with, they're coming to us saying, well, I knew how to get here and I knew how to save this. I knew how to get to retirement. But now I'm thinking about when to take Social Security and how to address taxes because I'm concerned with that. And do I take money out when the markets are down, and just not knowing or having any clue about this second phase of retirement. And it's really, as our industry, I think we've done everyone a disservice for the most part, because 90-something% of our industry is just focused on growth, on investments, on rate of return. And as most people have seen heading into this year, it's one thing to have 20 and 30% returns. It's another thing to be protected when things are uncertain. And that's what people are looking for in retirement: is protection, is certainty, is preservation, is added peace of mind, is safety, sometimes rate guarantees even. So for anyone listening right now, if you feel like you're a lot like the people we talk about on our show, and perhaps you've done a good job of saving for retirement, but just don't have an income plan, something to follow, something to track, something to measure, something to monitor every 90 days with a fiduciary retirement planner that's going to address your investments, taxes, healthcare, insurance, real estate, all of it. Go to retirementkeyradio.com, click on the Contact Us tab at the top of the page, and we can begin the same conversation with you as well.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Key Podcast with Abe Abish. To learn more about Abish Financial Services, visit retirementkeyradio.com. And join Abe for his radio show, The Retirement Key, Saturdays and Sundays at 2 p.m. on WMAL.
Investment advisory services offered through Abish Financial Wealth Management, LLC, number 310633, a registered investment advisor firm. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Abraham Abish is licensed in your state, please call 571-577-9968. Abish Financial Services is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Abraham Abish Inc., Virginia license number 131017.